Ever felt like you're a doormat, your ideas ignored, or your kindness exploited? Well, today marks a change. Respect isn't a plea, it's earned. In this video, I'll unveil powerful habits that demand attention and respect, embodying the confident, assured individual you truly are. Get ready, especially for habit number 4. It's a game changer. First up, setting clear boundaries. Here's an unpopular truth. Excessive niceness can sabotage your life. Yes, you heard right. Before you protest in the comments, hear me out. Establishing boundaries isn't about being harsh or cold. It's about respecting yourself enough to prioritize your needs. I learned this lesson through tough experience. I used to say yes to everything, whether I was swamped, tired, or just not in the mood. I became everyone's go-to helper, but was I happy? Far from it. I was burnt out, feeling like a pushover because I couldn't say no, even while internally I was desperate for a break. But the moment I started to decline, things felt strangely liberating, albeit awkward, like I was breaking the law. The guilt was overwhelming. Yet, the transformation was astounding. Those who genuinely cared understood and supported me, while the rest, who were there for their own benefit, showed their true colors. Good riddance, honestly. Here's the takeaway. Boundaries don't shut people out. They instruct them on how to treat you. By setting definitive limits, you declare that your time, energy, and self-worth are paramount. It's a bold statement, because if you don't prioritize your own needs, who will? Don't wait until you're on the brink of collapse to guard your peace. Begin now, and the right people will not only respect your boundaries, but will value you all the more for setting them. Remember, honoring your boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential, and it encourages others to respect you too. Next, let's talk about keeping promises. Being unreliable is a fast track to losing both self-respect and the respect of others. It might sound severe, but consider this. Each time you commit to something and fail to follow through, you erode your own credibility. Consider this. Being the friend who's always late might not make you despised, but it certainly strips away any seriousness people might attach to you. Often overlooked, failing to keep promises is essentially lying. You might be misleading your boss, a friend, or family. Shockingly, more often than not, the person you're deceiving is yourself. And trust me, that hurts the most. Here's a story to illustrate. A few years back, I assured a colleague I'd review a project they were working on. "Just send it over," I said casually, underestimating the commitment. Then, my own work piled up, the project slipped my mind, and eventually, my colleague stopped seeking my input. They moved on without my feedback, and frankly, I had it coming. That was a stark wake-up call. When you fail to deliver, people lose faith in you. But the real damage is internal. Every unkept promise, even minor personal commitments like starting a workout regime or saving money, teaches you to distrust yourself. Reflect on that. How can you foster confidence or respect if you're consistently letting yourself down? This breach of trust chips away at your identity. If you're known for saying, "Yeah, I'll do that," but fail to follow through, you start to view yourself as unreliable. But here's the uplifting part. You can change this narrative at any moment. Life is unpredictable, and perfection isn't the goal, but accountability is. When you commit to something, treat it as a binding agreement. Write it down, set reminders, or whatever it takes to remember. Don't make commitments lightly. It's not noble, it's reckless. I once was that person who'd agree to everything to avoid conflict or appear helpful. But I learned the hard way that overcommitting was a direct path to burnout and resentment. Now, if I can't do something, I straightforwardly decline. And guess what? The world keeps spinning. By reliably keeping promises, you don't just build trust, you establish a credible reputation. People begin to see you as dependable, and more crucially, you start to trust in your own word. This self-assurance transforms how others perceive you. So, here's my challenge. Stop overcommitting. Be deliberate with your commitments. When you say yes, regard it as a solemn pledge. Every promise you keep fortifies the person you aspire to become. Remember, your word is your bond. Cherish it. Next, let's delve into being a good listener, a skill most believe they possess, but few genuinely do. Many of us merely wait for our turn to speak. People notice when you're not truly engaged, and though they might not confront you, they're silently questioning why they even bother. I've been guilty of half listening too, planning meals or remembering chores while pretending to pay attention. But when people sense they're not being heard, it feels dismissive and diminishes respect. I once had a friend confide in me during a tough time while I was distracted with chores. Eventually, she just stopped talking, saying, "Never mind." That moment was a hard-hitting revelation. I wasn't just being inattentive, I was making her feel unseen. From then on, I committed to fully engaging in conversations. No multitasking allowed. This shift didn't just mend that friendship, it revolutionized all my relationships. I committed to genuinely engaging with others, putting my phone away, making eye contact and actively listening. It's transformative. Giving someone your full attention can seem magical. They open up, trust you more, and most importantly, they respect you more. But let's clarify, good listening isn't passive. It's not about nodding mechanically. It involves real engagement, asking thoughtful questions, reflecting on what's said, and sometimes just listening without interjecting with your own stories. Listening is challenging. It requires you to exit your personal narrative and fully immerse in another's. This engagement is the key to building authentic respect. People may not recall every word you speak, but they'll remember how you made them feel. When you make someone feel genuinely heard, that's the foundation of trust and connection. Here's a profound truth. Listening benefits you as much as it does them. It opens up new perspectives, deepens your understanding of others, and enhances empathy. And empathy, it's not just a trait, it's a leadership superpower. It distinguishes true leaders from followers, friends from acquaintances, and valued co-workers from mere colleagues. So, the next challenge I propose is this. In your next conversation, don't just hear, really listen. Put aside distractions, engage deeply, ask questions that matter, and show genuine interest. The respect you gain will be immeasurable. Being a good listener isn't just a skill, it's a cornerstone for building robust relationships, fostering trust, and earning profound respect. Next, let's tackle responsibility. Owning your actions might shake things up, but here's the hard truth. Blaming others or making excuses doesn't project cleverness, it shows weakness. Accepting responsibility for your errors is one of the most powerful and underrated moves you can make. We've all been there, spilling coffee on a report and blaming the cup's placement, or missing a deadline and claiming no reminder was given. Each time you deflect blame, you're broadcasting a message. I can't handle pressure. I once was a master of excuses, thinking explanations would earn sympathy. Instead, it branded me as unreliable. Acknowledging this was painful but transformative. When I began owning my mistakes, admitting fault and outlining a fix, it was tough, like swallowing a cactus, but it changed how people saw me. They respected and trusted me more for being forthright. Here's the bottom line. Owning your mistakes showcases your integrity, your ability to learn, and your commitment to rectify wrongs. It's refreshing in a world fixated on saving face. Remember, taking responsibility isn't about self-blame for everything. It's about acknowledging your missteps and correcting them without drama. Owning up simplifies life and enhances how people perceive your character. I recall leading a project and botching the timeline, which led to a rushed and subpar final product. My initial instinct was to blame the team, but accepting I was at fault was pivotal. No excuses, no finger-pointing, just a straightforward acknowledgement and solution. People remember your response to a mistake more than the error itself, and this accountability fosters respect and reliability. I admitted to my team that the oversight was mine and promised improvement. Instead of frustration, they expressed gratitude for my honesty. This experience underscored a vital lesson. Owning your mistakes isn't just about rectification, it's about demonstrating your character, showing that you're willing to accept consequences, learn, and progress. This is a potent way to garner respect, as it reflects maturity, strength, and humility. Here's a new challenge. Next time you err, and let's face it, we all do, handle it differently. Instead of pointing fingers, take ownership. Admit your fault and focus on rectifying it. You might be surprised by the respect this garners, not only from others, but also from yourself. Respect comes not from perfection, but from how you manage your imperfections. 5. Stand up for yourself. Let's delve into a topic that often stirs discomfort: self-advocacy. Here's the hard truth. If you don't stand up for yourself, people will take advantage of you, and you'll have only yourself to blame. Yes, it's tough. It feels awkward, uncomfortable, and sometimes downright scary. I used to dodge confrontation as if it were my job, brushing off unfair criticism with a joke while seething inside. But when you don't object to poor treatment, you're essentially teaching others that it's acceptable to disrespect you. You can't control others' actions, but you can set boundaries. If you don't, people will presume there are none. Being assertive isn't about aggression, it's about establishing how you expect to be treated. I remember a college group project where one member kept offloading his work onto me. Initially, I stayed silent to avoid drama, but after several nights of doing his work, I confronted him. His apology followed, and he began to contribute fairly. The real revelation was realizing I was more upset with myself for not speaking up sooner than with him for taking advantage. Being assertive doesn't mean becoming aggressive. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "I don't appreciate that," or "I can't take this on right now." It's about striking a balance between assertiveness and respectfulness. But be warned, not everyone will appreciate your newfound backbone. Some might label you as difficult. That's fine. Those who truly respect you will understand, and those who don't aren't meant to be central in your life. Standing up for yourself isn't just about gaining others' respect. It's about valuing your own worth. Every time you allow someone to overstep without objection, you're telling yourself that you don't deserve better. By asserting yourself, you affirm your own value. So the next challenge is this. The next time someone makes an inappropriate remark or demand, don't let it pass. Speak up. You don't have to be harsh, just firm. People respect those who respect themselves. Remember, standing up for yourself doesn't make you troublesome. It makes you dignified, and dignity is the bedrock of genuine respect. 6. Be consistent. Let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Many of us struggle with consistency. We excel at initiating projects, fueled by enthusiasm and grand plans, but sustaining them is another matter. Inconsistency is a swift route to losing respect because it makes you unreliable. Think about it. How often have we embarked on something like a new workout plan or hobby, only to abandon it shortly after? Excuses are always at hand. I got busy, or it wasn't the right time. But the hard truth is, no one respects a quitter. I once boasted about starting a blog that was going to change the game. After just 3 posts, I lost interest. The teasing from my friends wasn't just embarrassing, it was a wake-up call about my lack of follow-through. Consistency might lack glamour, but its value lies in its rarity and its power. It means showing up, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the work, even when no one is watching. Because when you're consistent, people trust you, and that trust is the foundation of respect. Let me put it simply. Inconsistency creates uncertainty about which version of you others will encounter. Are you the one who consistently meets deadlines, or the one who frequently backs out? Are you the dependable friend who follows through, or the one who's always a no-show? Consistency isn't merely a habit. It's a demonstration of your character over time, ensuring there's no doubt about your reliability. Here's a tale from my first job. I worked with someone who fluctuated wildly. One week they were a superstar, the next they were nowhere to be found, missing deadlines and meetings. It didn't take long for people to regard them as unreliable. On the other hand, another co-worker, though less charismatic, was always punctual, met every deadline, and was true to their word. Naturally, it was this person who earned a promotion. Consistency is key, but let's delve deeper. Consistency isn't just about how others view you. It profoundly affects how you view yourself. Every time you break a personal promise, like skipping a workout or abandoning a goal, you chip away at your own self-confidence. Conversely, adhering to your commitments reinforces a powerful message to yourself. You are reliable. This not only boosts your self-respect, but also earns the respect of others. Life isn't about flawless execution, but about showing up consistently. Over time, these small, regular efforts accumulate, leading to significant achievements that command respect, not because you're a prodigy, but because you're persistent. So, I challenge you to pick one thing, just one, and commit to consistency for the next month. Whether it's punctuality, a new habit, or simply keeping your word, prove that you can be dependable. Consistency sends a message that you take yourself seriously, and others should too. Respect isn't about grand gestures or making a scene, it's about being someone others can rely on. That's what true consistency looks like. 7. Stop seeking approval. Let's tackle a sensitive issue: the quest for approval. Here's the blunt truth. If your life revolves around seeking others' validation, you will never truly command respect. Why? Because people respect those who understand their worth, independently of applause. I understand the temptation. I've been there. There was a time when I was a veritable sponge for others' opinions, desperate for any form of validation. I'd twist myself into knots to please others, agreeing with viewpoints I didn't share, and overextending myself, all for a nod of approval. What did I get in return? Burnout, disappointment, and a painful realization that I wasn't being taken seriously. When you constantly seek approval, you're handing over your power. You allow others to determine your value, and some might exploit this weakness because they know you crave acceptance. It's a destructive cycle that I had to break. I remember trying to impress a group of friends by always saying yes, even at great personal cost. It took a toll until I realized they valued my actions, but not me as a person. Being liked and respected are not the same. You could contort yourself endlessly to gain approval, but all you're doing is diminishing yourself to meet others' expectations. True respect arises from authenticity and the courage to stand firm in your beliefs. This isn't just about others. Constantly seeking approval indicates you're not validating yourself. If you're always looking for someone else to affirm you're enough, it suggests a lack of self-belief. But here's the liberating truth. You don't need anyone's permission to recognize your worth. It's inherent. While it's natural to care about others' opinions, there's a vast difference between considering their views and letting them dictate your actions. The moment you liberate yourself from the need for universal approval is the moment you truly begin to live. When you stop seeking validation, you attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not what you can offer. And those who don't, they probably weren't your people in the first place. So next time you face a decision, ask yourself, am I doing this for me or for approval? If it's for approval, reconsider. Remember, the only validation you truly need is your own. Living by this philosophy isn't just empowering, it's transformative. And there you have it, strategies to stop being a pushover and start commanding the respect you truly deserve. Remember, respect isn't about being infallible, the loudest in the room, or incessantly proving your worth to others. It's about genuine presence, establishing boundaries, and living in alignment with your values. When you prioritize self-respect, the world tends to align with your stance. I realize some of these tips might have pushed your comfort zone or felt a bit provocative, but that's often the essence of growth. If any of these insights struck a chord, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which habit are you eager to adopt? Which seems daunting? Change isn't about an overnight overhaul. It's about gradual, consistent shifts that lead to significant transformations. So, show yourself some kindness, tackle these changes one step at a time, and don't shy away from celebrating even the smallest victories. If you found this video enlightening or even just engaging, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss future content. And consider sharing this with someone who might need a nudge to assert their presence and claim their power. Thanks for spending time with me today. Remember, respect begins within, so step forward, own your choices, and embrace your authentic self. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and keep being unapologetically you.